Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. My name is Sarah and today we are doing a video that is actually requested by my husband. It was his idea, and so if it flops, we can all blame him. He suggested that I should do a video of book recommendations based off of my favorite anime characters. Like either I'm recommending the books for that character or I'm recommending the books for people that really like that character. Kind of either or, there's a bit of a mix. I'm gonna be honest, I don't watch a ton of anime, but like the shows that I have watched I've absolutely loved, and like I've become very attached to certain characters. So we don't have a huge variety. I think I have 7 recommendations for you, but hopefully there'll be a show and a character in here that you recognize and then maybe you love as well. So our first character is actually 2 characters, and that is Mustang and Hawkeye from Fullmetal Alchemist. I love them both equally, and I feel like they are similar enough characters that they both have the same book recommendation attributed to them. So both these characters are kind of very quiet, hardened, tough characters that throughout the series end up having to more or less start to confront their emotions and kind of their relationships with people. They try to keep people at a distance, but you know, their loyalty gets the better of them and they end up really becoming attached to a lot of characters that are in the series. And so for that, I ended up picking Anxious People by Fredrik Backman because I think in this book it really focuses on human emotion and human relationships and interactions with one another, and the idea that everybody is kind of going through the same or similar circumstances. Everybody has anxieties and they try to hide them, and so a lot of the characters in here end up having to confront things that they don't want to deal with, and also kind of find human connection between other characters in this book that maybe they never thought that they had anything in common with. And I think just that like slow unraveling and confrontation of emotions and relationships in this book kind of mirrors how Hawkeye and Mustang have to approach things in Fullmetal Alchemist. So another one of my favorite characters is Kakashi from Naruto, and he is known for liking his smutty romance books, but he's also obviously a ninja, and so I wanted to find kind of a spicy book that has a lot of action, like fight scenes and things like that going on in it. And for that I picked a fantasy romance book, Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. I figured this has just the right amount of spicy romance that Kakashi would be looking for, while also having a very fast-paced, engaging plot, as well as a pretty kick-ass heroine and just lots of action scenes as well. So this is a urban fantasy romance, and in this book we're following Fortuna Sworn, who is a nightmare, and she's one of the last nightmares in known existence. And being a nightmare, she can like touch somebody and know their deepest fears, and then be able to kind of create the illusion of that fear coming to life. And her brother had disappeared a couple years ago, and she's been searching for him, but has ran into a lot of dead ends. And she ends up meeting a Fey man, and he tells her that he knows where her brother is and can help her, but only if she agrees to marry him. And then this plot just goes off the rails. It gets way more convoluted than that. This is a series, but yeah, I feel like this book would work well for Kakashi. So my next favorite character is Chise from The Ancient Magus Bride. So in this anime, Chise has kind of these magical abilities that she doesn't really understand at all. It's a weird situation because she's saved but also like bought. She's being sold for these abilities, like on this black market. So then we have our other character, Elias, who's like this like sorcerer creature guy, and he buys her but to like save her and train her in this magic, but it's this very precarious situation that Chisei really doesn't understand what's going on. She's worried that she's going to be in captivity, but she's not. And so for kind of a recommendation for Chisei or anybody who loves Ancient Magus Bride, I have picked Uprooted by Naomi Novik because this follows a very similar storyline, and it also has a very similar vibe where a young girl is kind of swept away into this tower by the dragon, who is this big bad wizard dude, and it has this very fairy tale-esque feel, very whimsical, very flowery and full of like nature and like this dark forest that's also beautiful at the same time, and it kind of mirrors that same vibe that Ancient Magus Bride has. Another favorite is Anya from Spy Family. So in Spy Family, we're following 3 different characters, but basically Anya is this little 6-year-old girl who can read minds, but she's keeping that a secret from her adopted parents, who happen to be a spy and an assassin, but she's the only one that knows their identities. The mom and the dad don't know that the other is a spy or an assassin. And it's all this weird convoluted plot of them trying to live together for each kind of their own gain. They all have a reason to be in this kind of adopted family, but then they're all trying to hide their secret identities from each other. And Anya really loves spy shows, and so I don't really have like a spy novel to recommend, but I have a book that has a similar noir feeling that Anya's spy show has, and that is Fortune Favors the Dead by Stephen Spotswood. This is the first in the Pentecost and Parker murder mystery. We've got very kick-ass heroines that I think Anya would really look up to. There's lots of sneaking around and gathering intel. It's solving a murder mystery. It's saving the day, and it has this very 1940s noir feel to it that I think Anya would really enjoy. And then I also really adore Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen, and I picked a book that has characters that are both like very egotistical, very sassy, strong-willed, but also very like magically powerful as well, and a book that has a very interesting magic system, and I picked A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. In this book there's actually 4 different Londons. They're kind of like alternate realities, and in each one they have different levels, different layers of magic. And it turns out we have our main character, Kel, who is one of the very rare types of people that has the magical ability to travel between these different types of Londons. And he inadvertently ends up bringing Lila from Grey London, which would be like our reality's London that has no magic, into his London, which is full of vibrant magic. And I really love just like Lila as a character. I think Gojo would enjoy her, and I think just with like this very interesting magic system and this interesting concept of moving between different realities and kind of the other types of magic that are in this book, and some of the more powerful characters that we run into, as well as some of the very sassy characters with high amounts of ego, I do think Gojo would enjoy this. And then we do have another character from Jujutsu Kaisen, and that is Nanami. He has like a severe lack of like faith in humanity. He's very upset about being an adult. He's very tired. So he's very serious. He's very tired. He's very much lost his like vibrancy in the world. Like basically adulthood has just beaten him down, but as the show goes on, he does seem to have a bit of a connection with one of our main characters and kind of gets a bit of a sense of vibrancy and livelihood back because of, you know, his friendship and his mentorship that he is gaining. But I feel like a good book that kind of brings back faith in humanity is kind of a warm, cozy, happy book that focuses on human relationships and just has a feeling of a warm hug would be perfect for Naname, and for that I'm picking The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. So in this book we have these different types of orphanages that house children with magical abilities. And our main character is a very by the books, rule following, kind of serious, no fun type of main character. He is an inspector at orphanages, and he is sent to one of the most unique orphanages. It's just got a handful of residents, but they're some of the most dangerous ones. They have the most unique abilities and nobody really knows what to do with them. And he's sent to inspect the orphanage to make sure that it is safe to stay open. And while there, he just really learns about kind of the found family that has been created within this orphanage between the children there and the caretaker. And he ends up getting very attached to the children and the caretaker as well, and realizing that these are some really, really special children. And it's just a very cozy, lighthearted, it deals with very heavy topics, but it's like it gives you that faith in the world and people and just a warm hug sort of book. And I think that it's one of those books that Naname needs. And then finally I have Mako from Kill la Kill. She is a very goofy, silly, but loyal kind of friend and sidekick to our main character in this show. And for that I looked for a book that has similarly kind of silly, goofy, feisty, very loyal characters, and I picked The Long Way to a Smiling Green Planet by Becky Chambers. I think that the characters in this Mako would really resonate with. They're very kind of similar in some ways. So this book is kind of like a very slice of life sci-fi. It's not very action-packed. It's very, very character focused and focused on the relationships between this crew that punches wormholes through space for space travel, and they are tasked with one of the most dangerous jobs yet, and that is to punch a wormhole from kind of the central system out to this very hostile planet that the kind of central space system is trying to, I guess, ally with a bit more. And it's just following these characters as they work together through this journey to get to this small angry planet to punch the wormhole. And yeah, I just think that some of the characters in that book are similar to Mako in certain ways. So those are recommendations for some of my favorite anime characters. If you've watched any of these shows, if you like any of these characters, let me know. If you have different books that you would suggest for certain characters, let me know. Let me know what your favorite anime is, who your favorite character is, or if you have any shows that you would recommend to me. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I do like to occasionally pick up an anime and start watching it. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you consider sticking around and subscribing if you haven't already. But as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!